Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new webinar. Today, we're here with attorney Ruby Powers from Powers Law Group, and we're going to talk about what to expect during a U.S. visa interview. So Ruby, she is a board-certified immigration and nationality attorney. She has been licensed since 2008, so a little bit more than 15 years, and she founded the firm in November of 2009. So Ruby, the word is yours.
Thank you, Maria. So a lot of people go to visa appointments. We're talking about consular appointments abroad around the world because they're applying for some type of visa. Now, it could be an immigrant visa or it could be a non-immigrant visa. And so immigrant is intending to stay in the United States for a long time or forever. And non-immigrant is like a student, a tourist, investment. Most investment ones, we're trying to just come for a little short time for a period to stay and then to leave. And so every interview can be a little different, also can differ as to where what post. When I say post, embassy, consulate, that you're at around the world. And so there's a lot of different processes. I recently did a tour of the Juarez a consulate in Mexico, and they have pretty much the highest volume of all the visas around the world. And they were giving stories about the difference between their post versus some smaller places that have a lot less staff and less volume. So we just wanted to give you a little idea. This doesn't take the place of immigration advice. This is just sort of more informational when you're applying for an appointment. So generally, when you are doing an immigrant visa, then there's the DS-260. And that will help you get scheduled for an appointment once your visa is available. And then if it's a non-immigrant visa, it's the DS-160. And in some cases, interviews are waived because of efficiency, especially if a person was approved in the past and renewing some cases. And some cases, they have to have an interview each time. So it's important to know where to go, when to be there, and to read all the instructions. If you have an immigration attorney that can help guide you through this, that's even better because timing is so important. So after you have your visa is available and you've scheduled an appointment, then this is pretty much the last step. And so you want to make sure that you read all the detailed instructions and you know what to expect. So it could be that you're attending a marriage based green card interview, if you will. So and this could be one of the options that happens. And generally what happens is that you would go to the appointment. Your spouse is not technically required to go, it doesn't go. But the officer will ask you about your relationship, and they might want to see more documentation, but a lot has already been demonstrated. And so it's important to be prepared for that interview. You also could have meet interviews for being a student, for example, or in a J1 or F1. And so they're going to evaluate your intentions. Just because you're approved from the school, you have an I-120, doesn't mean your visa is going to get approved. They're going to ask a lot of other questions. They're going to review your financials and know what your intentions are of going home, what you're going to study, and that it all makes sense into the big picture. There are sometimes some of these appointments are getting waived, and you also cannot have the appointment too soon before your school program begins. So there's a lot of little restrictions that you need to know about. Now, a lot of people, especially after the pandemic, when people weren't allowed to travel, and there was a huge backlog when people were like, wait, we can travel now, let's go. And the B1, B2 processing time in some parts of the world were like a year or two. And sometimes it still says that, but they're really trying hard to speed things up. Even listening to consular officers in Mexico this last week, learning about how they've been trying to speed up their process for the B2, because that's really a big part of international trade, business, and visit, and it's great for tourism. So anyway, I would definitely say is if you were trying to get a B2 to come to the US or a B1, just definitely look, don't just apply early and especially along far in advance of when you intend to come to the United States. There is a way to look online, the visa processing wait, and you can put in the post that you're going to be going to and the type of visa. And it's a really great opportunity to see how long things are taking. But the one big thing about the B1, B2 is that it's just short term. It's pretty much the B1 is for business, mostly go to a meeting, a conference. B2 is more for pleasure, tourism, go to the Grand Canyon, go shopping, go see a family member, and come back. And they generally allow them for 6 months. It doesn't mean you get to stay. You want to stay the whole 6 months. You can stay, but you need to leave. And sometimes they'll give you a validity of a visa for 10 years. It doesn't mean you get to stay here for the whole 10 years. It means you can come and go for 6 months within those 10 years. But if they think that you're living here on those visas, then they will cancel it. So you want to be careful about that because it's a non-immigrant visa. So this is super general, but depending on whether it's an immigrant or a non-immigrant visa, they're going to ask lots of different questions. And, these interviews are fast. They're usually a few minutes long. The officers starts looking at your file. Generally, like right when you walk up to talk to them, they have to move quickly. So you want to know your answers, you want to know your file, you want to know what's in your packet that somebody else might have prepared for you. You want to know it because this is super important. And you want to be honest and you want to answer the question, provide the information requested, but not necessarily anything beyond that if not requested because they are very busy. So make sure that you have the documents needed so you don't waste any time. This is your moment to shine that you've been waiting for. So make sure that you know where everything is, you have it on you. Most of these posts, you're not allowed to bring in a phone for the most part, so you need to know things. You need to have it in your head or have it written down. Maintain your composure. I know it can be really scary because you've waited so long or this is such an important appointment. And try to stay calm. And make sure you eat or drink or water, do whatever you normally need to do, take care of yourself because you could have a long wait just to have that short interview appointment. So remember what the point of the appointment is and what the visa is about, because that's going to indicate why the questions that the officer is going to ask. And at our firm, Powers Law Group, we prep our clients to just so that they have a mock interview and know what it would expect. Because I mean, it's very having gone through the marriage-based green card process, it can be scary, even though I was a U.S. citizen in the interview. And I understand that that this really means a lot. And when people get denied visas, it can have a big impact on your life and your family. And I've had that happen to my family personally as well. So I would just say this is important. Definitely get guidance with experienced guidance and know that there's different reasons for their questions, and make sure that you're as prepared as possible, and know what the officer is going to ask for and why, so that you can be a few steps ahead. So you can reach us at 713-589-2085. We are everywhere: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can find us. The newsletters in English and Spanish, and we speak multiple languages. We want to be there, a resource for you. So today we did what to expect with the visa interview. We talked about immigrant and non-immigrant today. And so this is just general guidance. Wanted you to have a good big picture idea. Feel free to share our video with other people. And also we have more programming later in the month of April. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.